Next we have, for Auditor, Ms. Jessica Holmes. Jessica Holmes is EMPAC's endorsed candidate for Auditor who is running for her first term after being appointed by the governor. Auditor Holmes was born and raised in North Carolina and currently serves as North Carolina's 20th state auditor. Coming from humble beginnings in small rural town Maple Hill in Pender County, taught her the value of $1 in government service for vulnerable communities. That's why she works hard every day to safeguard taxpayers' dollars from fraud, waste, or abuse, and strengthen the effectiveness of federal and state programs, impacting our everyday lives from education, health care, hurricane disaster recovery, service for seniors, and people with disabilities, our youth, and economical growth. Auditor Holmes receives her Bachelor of Arts in Juris Doctorate from the University of North Carolina and has spent her career since fighting for working families as a lawyer, a county commissioner, and now as the first Black woman to serve on the North Carolina Council of State.
Wesley got a shout out for his hometown. You all can't tell me nobody here is from Pender County? All right, I got a couple of folks here in the house. I'll start with, I am Jessica Holmes, and I currently serve as North Carolina State Auditor. In December of 2023, the current state auditor at the time resigned, and Governor Cooper had to appoint someone to fulfill her term and then run for the office. So with his appointment, I became, in over 250 years of North Carolina's history, the first woman of color to ever sit at the Council of State table. That was not taking notes, that was not going to get someone's coffee, but with a vote. I'll tell anybody that the reality is, me being the first is not a flex, because it should have never taken this long for me to get here. And I know that I stand on the shoulders of so many people that came before me, including State Auditor Ralph Campbell Jr., who was the first person of color to ever sit at the Council of State table, ever. I live by this philosophy that service is the rent that we pay for the privilege of living here on this earth. If you all have been paying any attention to the media, and I encourage you, even though it's election season, to tune out as needed. But if you have been paying attention to this past week's election cycle coverage, it's very unfortunate that in 2024, we're talking more about whether I belong at the table as opposed to why I am at the table. There is so much rhetoric going around about women, and particularly women of color, and whether we are qualified. Oftentimes, when we sit at the table, we're twice as qualified. And that is certainly the case as it relates to my qualifications versus that of my opponents, who has often referred to me and other people of color as DEI hires or appointments. I like to remix a little bit, and so my response is that I am here because I definitely earned it. And so while it's me that has the privilege to stand before you all today as state auditor, it is also not lost on me history here in North Carolina. The truth is that when I initially got that phone call, as persuasive as our beloved governor is, I looked at him and I said, no. And he said, Jessica, this is such an amazing opportunity for you. Why would you give this up? I said, because Black women aren't winning statewide in North Carolina. So why would I want to take on that burden of getting into the game a year later than other candidates, knowing that I don't have family money to back me, and knowing that I don't have a family name to run on? I am here as humble as I know how to be, a proud product of Pender County Schools, a proud product of a mother who spent most of her time working at Thornapple Valley or Smithfield or whatever other chicken packing plant that was close by. It was Pender County teachers that told me that I could go to college. Because for the most part, at that time, where I was from, you either went into the military or you worked at a meat packing plant. So what got me to yes? He said, Jessica, there's a hole, and I need you to fill it in a way that I know only you know how to do. I said, well, what do you mean by that? I don't know all there is to know about being state auditor. He said, well, the one thing I do know about you is that nobody will work harder than you will on behalf of the people of North Carolina. So many people don't know very much about what the state auditor does. So I will share just a few brief comments about the importance of the role. It's not as sexy as some of the other races on the ballot, but nonetheless, it's one of the most important offices on the Council of State. For example, here are things that are within my authority. When it comes to SNAP benefits, we are able to perform audits to make sure that government is working like it's supposed to work. So making sure that people who are entitled to benefits receive those benefits in a timely manner. Why does that matter to me? Because I grew up on those same benefits. When it comes to things like hurricane relief, I grew up on swampland. So I know what it's like to sweep flood water out of my living room. So it's important to me to make sure that hurricane relief dollars get to the people that need it. It's unfortunate that we're in a state where people are still in temporary housing from the hurricane before the last hurricane. That's why it matters. We make sure that seniors, when it comes to nursing homes, that they're performing inspections like they're supposed to. That matters to me because I was raised by my grandma. And I know how lonely it can feel when visiting them in a nursing home, especially when they don't have family like my grandma did, coming in every other day to make sure that they're cared for. So, in a way, I can assure you that I'm not here because campaigning is fun. I am not here to add a notch to my resume. I am not here because my campaign is flooded with money. I am here because I love North Carolina. I am here because I am the beneficiary of many of the services that are now my job to protect. And so what truly, in the end, got me to yes? People just like you all. Because I knew that even though many of the people that would be my supporters wouldn't be able to write max out checks, I knew that I would have foot soldiers. I knew that if I had to win this campaign $5 at a time, I knew there were people like you all that were gonna have my back. People who are aware of what happened in 2020 when Chief Justice Sherry Beasley lost her position by 400 votes. I can get 400 votes in this room. And in closing, what I'll say to you is that I am in the job right now, which means I can't attend as many events as some other candidates can attend, because I'm in the job right now, and my office is directly across from the General Assembly, and you would think they had binoculars. I can't be all across the state of North Carolina like I'd like to be. Because like many of you, I work for a living. But what that means is that I need you all to bring me into rooms that I'm not in. I need you all to tell people that history is not just on the ballot at the top of the ticket, but right here in North Carolina. I need you to tell them that not only do I belong at the table, but that we, the 99%, belong at the table. And not only do we have a voice, we have a vote. So use it.